I didn't sort anything out with my leg pain. So I think it was like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, actually. Um, yeah, and it took that long. And I've just been managing it along the way. And it's some years have been better than others. But yeah, now I finally figured it out. So once I figured out my folic acid issue, I haven't had leg pain since.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, unless I eat something with folic acid, and then I have twinges. It's not bad, but I definitely notice if I accidentally eat something that has folic acid in it, I have a kind of a negative response pretty quickly.
Right. I don't want to spend the whole
So
time talking about health, but I guess
yeah,
I do have one I do have
yeah.
one question. Like, man, how did you keep going with that leg pain for so long?
Honestly, I don't like to quit, and I was good at bike racing, and I enjoyed it, and I figured there's got to be. I just want to keep doing it, and honestly, it was super painful, but for just short periods of time, like I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year for maybe 3 to 4 weeks at a time, which in hindsight sounds like quite a bit, but I just liked riding my bike and I liked being healthy and fit and I was good at bike racing and it was one of those things where I kept just trying to figure out why. Like there's got to be some reason why I have these pains like nobody else does. Why am I different? Why is my body different? So I think part of it was a challenge of figuring out why. And then I also really like physiology and I love the human body. So for me to figure out how my body functions and why it might hurt like this, that was also a problem I wanted to solve. And it just took 20 years to figure it out. But but with enough like determination and perseverance, I finally did, and now I know, and now I haven't had leg pain since, and it was worth all the effort of trying to figure out why.
Right. And I know that you moderate your diet. I mean, is that like super annoying?
It was super annoying at first, mostly because you have to figure out what you can and can't eat. And then I love to bake and I love to cook. And so I had to figure out different ways to do it and still eat good food. So that's probably the hardest part. But I've been doing it kind of slowly since 2009 or 10 is probably when I started playing with my diet to figure out how I can perform better, how I can feel better. And then once I figured out the folic acid thing, that eliminated a lot of foods for me. And with my allergies, I've got fairly severe allergies too. I've had to adapt more of a low histamine diet. So I eat foods that don't produce histamine response in my body. So that's also a little bit of a challenge, but I've got it dialed in and I still eat a good variety of foods. I eat, all the fruits and vegetables. I can eat for carbohydrates. I can do sweet potatoes, quinoa, and buckwheat, and then healthy, lean protein sources and healthy fats. So that's kind of my go-to for nutrition, which is pretty good variety of food, I think.
And sometimes it's nice to have a limit. You have it
It
reduces the
is.
number of decisions you have to make.
It sure does. And it definitely makes things easy when, yeah, I can't eat anything delicious in Belgium. Like all the all the delicious things you see in a bakery I can't have. And I just stopped. I'm like, I smell it and I watch other people eat foods. So like, wow, that smells and looks really good. But I know I can't even try any of it. So once you kind of get used to the fact that you can't have it, you stop wanting it. Well, maybe not stop wanting it, but you don't miss it because you forget what it tastes like.
Right, right.
And then I just bake. I've learned to bake with limited ingredients, and the stuff I make is pretty good. And even my husband likes it too.
Well,
So
that's good.
that's a good sign.
The other question I had for you about all of this is you go to bed really early.
I do.
And I just think like that would eliminate any socializing that I would do.
It does. And I only go bed really early during race season.
Ah, okay.
So like when I'm at home in like the spring and summer and even early fall, that's when I let myself. I want to be social. I want to see friends. So that's when I don't necessarily go to bed as early. But my friends also like to go to bed early. So if we do dinner parties, we don't mind starting at 5:30 or 6. So that makes things easier. And a lot of my friends are pro cyclists too, so they're not like at work till 6. So that helps. But during the season, I try to stay on European time just because it makes it easier for the jet lag back and forth. So right now, since I'm preparing for nationals, I'm not staying on the European time as much. I'm still going to bed early. Like now I'm on the kind of 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. schedule, which is good enough. It's good enough for Reno, but it's also will allow me to adapt back to Europe fairly easily instead of having to do a 9-hour time change.